So, come on mate, where are we? What's the crack?
This is Mill Farm Fishery,
Right.
right near my home. You had the advantage last time. That was undoubtable.
In a little bit, I suppose.
Yeah, undoubtable.
Yeah.
Now, I think if we come here today, catch some silverfish. It's quite relevant, really. A lot of silverfish venues have responded to silverfish work now. Now it's gone a bit colder and the carp are shutting up shop. And when we were talking about what to do, I think the dark groundbait versus light groundbait, that's going to be the best thing to do.
I think it will, yeah. And the interesting thing as well is I've never seen the place before, so I'm going to have to use a little bit of watercraft as well. And I think that might be interesting for viewers that, you know, are coming to a new venue, might not have seen before, and how to approach, and just use a bit of watercraft when you get on the bankside, thinking about what baits to use, what species are in. So what we're fishing for today, roach, skimmers?
It's roach and skimmers mainly. There's some little perch, not really worth targeting I suppose, but it's mainly roach and skimmers, which I say is probably the staple of most commercial fisheries when we're targeting silverfish.
Yeah.
The venue, once we get down there, it's a really nice venue. Really quiet, quite picturesque, trees all around it, but it's quite deep, 10 to 15 foot in places. So you're going to need big rigs, and we're fishing on the deck with ground bait. You're going to need some decent rigs, decent laggies to set the hook in deep water. But that is all I know.
The elastics that I've left at home.
The elastics that I've left at home. And that is all I'm going to tell you, because I think if I tell you any more, I think you're going to have too much of an advantage on me.
Right, okay.
Come on, let's get to the pegs.
Right.
No, we'll have a coin toss for the pegs.
Does it matter?
No, I don't think so.
It does, doesn't it? It does,
No, I don't think it does. I don't think it does.
You don't think it
No,
does?
I don't think it does.
No, that means it does.
All right, we'll toss a coin.
Which is the deepest peg? Does it shelve up?
No, I don't think it does. I can't remember it.
Have you fished it?
Yes, I fished there.
Right,
I won't fish there.
Why did you fish there?
Because I only sat there. I won't fish there.
Is this where you'd put your dad, something like that?
Yeah, that's like a little boy's peg. That's little boy's peg.
Make your dad look good.
Yeah.
Make your dad look
Yeah.
like inferior.
Yeah, that's a little boy's peg. That's perfect for, perfect for you, Nick.
Yeah, looks shallower. Well, I'll be honest with you, Rob. It looks really nice. I think it looks really fishy. What a lovely lake you've brought me to, you know.
Yeah, it's a bit of a. Quite a lot of people in this area know about it, but it's really underfished. It's surprising, really, because there's loads of fish in here. It's probably one of my favourite venues. Definitely my favourite venue in this area. So and there's everything in here. You know, we could be catching crucians, we could be catching carp. There's some massive carp in here.
Yeah. Perfect place to experiment some ground baits.
Yeah, it is. It's perfect. It's perfect. Now I think this is the ideal sort of peg. 2 pegs we can sit on. They're close, but I think even that's going to be an advantage when we're doing a bit of experiment. And also we can have a chat and just decide what's going on during the day. Listen, you can have choice of peg, because you can either have that side or this side of this concrete pin.
That obviously means that one side's better than the other.
It's up to you if you want a coin toss.
Don't you? I've never seen the place, you see. I know what you're doing. You brought me to a venue and, you know, trying to show me up, so I can understand why you.
Nick, I'm holding my hands up. You can choose. You can choose. Which side are you going to go?
I don't mind. I will. Which side? I think I'll go on which is the best from a pole roller? The right-hand side.
Okay, you go on that side.
Yeah.
I wanted to go on this other side anyway. Yeah. So that's helped me out. Come on, let's get sorted. It's getting late. Right, let's toss a coin to decide who's going to get the dark groundbait and who's going to get the light one. So I'll let you choose. You've had choice of peg, I'll let you choose heads or tails.
I'll have tails. Never fails.
It is a tails. What are you going to have?
I'll have the dart mix.
Oh, I thought you would. Another advantage for you. I'll have the light mix then. And I can't say that I'm overly happy about that.
This is the way I see it, right? We're on, I mean, you told me it were like 9-10 foot deep, and it's actually a top 6. so I think the interesting part is because of the depth, that actually a light mix, the thing is with a light mix, if you know, I'm sure you'd agree with me, if we're on the bank side, we knew what kind of like the contours were, the first thing you'd do as soon as you get to the peg, or even in the morning when you get up in the morning, is mix your ground bait. And with a dark mix, it actually, a light mix, you know, a golden brown mix, actually does darken off quite quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I think it could be interesting today that I might not necessarily run away with catching more fish or more fish feeling confident feeding over a dark mix. I think yours could work just as effectively.
I'm hoping so, and although the reason I'm a little bit dubious is because my peg plums up very unevenly on the bottom. I'd be quite happy with fishing with the light mix to catch some bigger fish. Because I know that bigger fish like to graze over the light mix a little bit better. But because the bottom's quite uneven, I feel it's going to be quite hard to present that rig on the bottom and catch those bigger fish. Yeah. But, you know, we'll see how it goes.
You're a good angler, aren't you? So you'll figure something out.
Well, so you say. Let's just say the mix that we're using. Right. It's same mix, you know, as we'd use in Ireland, I suppose. Brown crumb, then we've got frenzied hemp seed. I'm using the match original, and you've got obviously the black, and we've just got Silver X Roach original, and you've got the black. One thing I've got to say about the black mixes, these I've not found a blacker mix than these mixes.
No, I haven't either.
They're as black as you can get. So if you do want a black mix, that is as black as you can get once it's mixed up. So obviously that's a benefit as well for that. Now
the interesting thing about these ground baits is as well, we're on a venue where there's a lot of skimmers apparently as well. And I'm always a big believer in adding a little bit of brown crumb into the mix for that reason. But out of all the ground baits I've used throughout all the years, what I found with this ground bait is when you actually catch the fish, they're actually bringing up the ground bait, which shows to me that they're really confident in feeding on the particles that are in the mix. So I think Dynamite have got the concoction with all the Silver X range, but especially with these two, absolutely bang on for all styles of roach fishing and silverfish fishing.
So I don't know about you, but this, obviously we go to Ireland a lot now, a hell of a lot, and this is my Irish mix.
Yes, that's right.
You know, I might substitute the roach for a bag of bream, a bag of bream original, but the basics of my mix are that and that, the brown crumb and the frenzied hemp seed with either a bag of bream or a bag of roach.
Yeah, well I do exactly that. I do brown crumb, those three.
Okay.
That's it. Basically, because especially down south the water's a lot clearer, and it's a lot more roach fishing, and these mixes, this particular mix is absolutely bang on for every venue. Quite simple.
Well, hopefully it's going to be a bit like Ireland, but you've took that long setting your gear up that we need to get mixed. We need to get mixed in the ground bait now because we need to let it absorb a bit of water.
If you'd have told me what depth it was, I'd have brought the right rig, wouldn't I? Right, well, we've mixed the ground bait, we're just going to let it rest now, give it a quick riddle and then we're all sorted. Now, in order for us to actually test which is the best ground bait, we're going to keep our baits exactly the same. So all we've got today is Dynamite, frenzied hemp seed, casters and maggots, and we're going to split them equally, so we've all got both got the same amount of bait, and that's how we're going to get the best results out of the ground baits, knowing that we're using the same baits. Would you say that's a good idea? I
think so. I've got to own up. I've put a tin of corn in my bag, just in case I've got the light mix for some bigger fish.
Oh,
but
right, okay.
Listen, Nick, you're welcome to have some if you want some.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so there's a tin of corn in my bag just in case.
It doesn't surprise me that with you. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting. So I think we ought to get fishing, mate, don't you?
Yeah, come on. Let's riddle the ground bait first and get fishing.
Right. All right. Cheers. Let's do it, baby. Let's go. Well done.
There we go, first fish to the light mix. This is going to be pretty easy today. 6 balls at the start, we both put 6 balls in. Obviously loaded with maggots and casters and a bit of hemp. And it's probably taken 5 or 6 minutes before we've started getting indications, but I'm ahead, and that's all that matters.
No, you're not.
Hello, little fish.
Oh, we got a disgorger.
Thanks.
Can I have one, please? I know what's going to happen here. Oh dear. Oh dear me.
Hello.
Right, well, I think it'd be a good idea to talk about the rigs reviews today. And as bizarre as it sounds, we've not had a chance, myself and Rob, to actually compare our rigs. And looking at them, they're quite different in depth-wise, but apart from that, they're virtually identical. Now, I've used a Spire Silk Shot, Shimano Spire Silk Shot for the main line and the hook length. 0.14 for my main line, and I've ended up fishing 0.11 for my hook length. And use a 3 gram rig with a 2.5 gram Olivet, and I've used 8s as droppers. Rob's brought me to a really good venue. We've had loads of fish today, had a cracking day, but it's deep. And so when we've been lowering a rig in, we've wanted it to register quite quickly to see the bites, and we want the rig to straighten up, get the bait down to the bottom, and for that reason it's more or less like an island setup. Number 8 as droppers, just so that float sits in the water as quickly as possible and we receive a bite quickly. And the big hook as well. We're talking about wild fish here, so I've used a 16 hook, and Rob has used virtually the same hook as well, barbless hook because of the venue that we're on. And it seems to have worked quite well, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, it was. It's just amazing how we've both come to the same conclusion, rig-wise. I mean, apart from your Olivet maybe being
3" closer to the hook. We've both ended up using exactly the same rig.
Yeah.
I'm the same. I've used a 3 gram float, reasonable, 1.5mm sort of tip, reasonable thickness of tip.
Yep.
Olivet, and then number 8s. The good thing about number 8s is as well is when you get a bite, they register well on your tip.
Yeah.
So fish picks up the bait, moves that number 8 shot,
Yeah.
registers well on the tip. And obviously in such depth of water, you need good bite indication.
The other thing about it, I think, which is quite important to mention, is the length of the hook length. Now, we've both used 8" hook lengths. Now, in depths of water like this, when you use shorter hook lengths, which most people would generally think of doing, maybe a 6" hook length, I'm sure that the bigger fish feel that resistance, and you end up catching a smaller stamp of fish. So we've both used big baits like double maggot on the hook, and that compensates as a dropper in a way because it's quite a heavy bait, and you can get away using a longer hook length. You get more of a natural fall and you catch those wiser fish in your peg, and that's what I found today.
You're
anyway.
shaking well, aren't you? You're cold.
I am cold, yeah.
It's freezing, isn't it? Yeah, I'm the same. 8" is I like using 8". I just think as well with the depth we're fishing, it balances the setting
With the shotting pattern and everything.
The shotting pattern.
Yeah.
We're maybe letting the fish see the bait for a little bit longer as it falls through the water as well, which means you can get a bite a bit quicker. I mean, it's worth mentioning it's 15 foot deep, so it's a fair old depth. And you don't want to keep lifting your rig out and laying it in, lifting it out, laying it in. So that bit of extra time of your bait falling through the water helps you catch more fish.
Yeah, I think what I've noticed about your rig, that's very interesting. That I've used a fixed olivet, whereas Rob's actually used an inline one that runs.
I just let it run for maybe 3" because it's quite a heavy olivet. I feel that it just minimises the resistance on the fish when the fish takes the bait, and also I'm not striking
into the olivet.
I'm not striking directly into the olivet.
Yeah.
I'm striking sort of through the olivet.
Yeah, good idea.
I just feel it might not help, but it's not going to hinder anything.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think there's quite a lot of information there that I've learnt a bit today regarding depths and rigs and knowing what the present time. I mean, I've messed about with my shotting pattern a little bit, but I've kept it quite simple. But I think Rob's beat me, but he thinks the other way. Yet, we've used the same rig and we've more or less got very similar results, haven't we?
Yeah,
really?
I think so. Right, well, I'll tell you what, get the fish out and then we'll know for sure, won't we?
Yeah.
Well, Nick, we knew it was going to happen. I've battered you. Let's be right.
I think it's been quite interesting, mate. I mean, what have you had? £20? I've had just over 17, so £2.5 in it. But I've enjoyed it. Brilliant days fishing. I mean, your local venue, bit like Little John's, I suppose. So I can say it's 1-1, but
I'll tell you what, while we've got the fish out, it's worth noticing just at the stamp of fish. You've got some decent fish on the top there, but I've had some really nice fish. I mean that. Look
that's
at that.
And this,
fish. I'm sure that is down to using that lighter mix.
Yeah.
Just helped hold some better stamp fish. We've even had a few skimmers. Look.
Yeah. I've only had one small skimmer.
To be fair, I think that's what's tipped it.
No, but I think you've brought us to a really good venue, mate.
Yeah.
Lovely fishing.
Place. It's a bit of a forgotten place.
Yeah.
This is. Right. Let's get this fish back.
Back you go. Go on, boys. Have you finished eating yet?
Yeah, only just.
Right. As we said this morning, today was about experimenting ground baits, and I think it's been quite interesting. As you've seen, I've used a dark mix, Rob's used a light mix, and he's definitely had a bigger stamp of fish than me. So I think that's what's done you really. I've had a lot of fish, a lot of smaller stamp, but nevertheless I thought you brought us to a brilliant venue, mate. I've really enjoyed it.
It's a fantastic place, and it's a shame because a lot of guys, and me included, a lot of the time we go to carp venues still in the winter and we're catching not many fish and we're not getting many bites, and you can come to somewhere like this, and I suppose this is similar to a lot of commercials where there's a lot of silverfish that is a bit untapped, and by sitting there waiting for 2 or 3 big carp, you're missing out on some real good sport.
Oh yeah, I mean, and when you look at the bait bill, what we've used today, it's been absolutely nothing, hasn't it?
Oh, what do we need in the end? Half a pint of maggots, a couple of bags of ground bait. That's it really, isn't it?
Been cracking. But I think when it comes to the conclusion about the ground baits, I don't think there was a lot between them.
No, I think
A safe bet is a black.
A safe bet is a black mix. But I think if you know that you're going to a venue and it's going to be good fishing, like it is here today, then you say to yourself, well, I want to target the better fish. I know I'm going to get bites, so you don't need that safe bet. You think to yourself, I need to target the better fish, and I'd put in the lighter mix. And I think that's worked today.
An interesting question for you, right? No, you know the venue. You've brought me to a venue that I've never seen before. Would you have used a light mix?
No,
by choice.
No, I wouldn't. I'd have used a dark mix every time.
Okay.
Hands on heart. I'd have sat where you have sat, and I'd have used the dark mix.
Yeah. I mean, look, you know, you beat me, but I've spent a bit of time up in the tree. I've had to put another rig on, and you know, if I was on the other side, if I was on your shoes, I would have actually stopped fishing, you know, and had a cup of tea and let me put another rig on. But no, you had to carry on fishing, didn't you?
Yeah.
So you know, I accept that.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do for the next round? Are we going to have a think about it?
I'll tell you what, it's going to be up to you. You choose. You feel a bit hard done to today, I can tell. So you can choose where you want to go, and it's. Hopefully it'll be a decent match, because it's 1-1 now, isn't it?
Yeah, no, but I've enjoyed it, mate.
Yeah,
it's been cracking.
Superb. It's been superb
absolutely
fishing.
brilliant.
I mean, both had fish over £1, haven't we?
Yeah.
For road fishing is superb.
Yeah.
And you look around the lake, not another angler on the lake, which is a shame, isn't
it? Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So, well done, mate.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Good day again.